Okay. I am speaking, it's Dave here from Amplify, and I'm speaking to the unbelievable Tasha Coates, not normal Tasha, it's T-double-A.
So it's Tasha.
Tarsha, sorry, Tasha Coates.
Blame my mother, really.
Excuse me, I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, obviously. I don't even know how to say her name properly. From the Audreys. And, there's nothing Audrey about these people. So that's just another stupid quip. So let's get into it. Well, I've got lots of questions and we've got to get
Okay,
them all out
great.
in the next 30 minutes. How
Hit
did
me.
how did the band come together in Adelaide 20 plus years ago? How did it all begin?
Really? You want me to go back that far?
In 25 words or less.
So, so Tristan was my best friend. We met when we were university students, and I was studying jazz vocals, and he was in a rock band. And he said, "Do you want to write songs with me?" And I said, "I don't know how to write songs." And he said, "I reckon you do." And so we started writing, and then we put our first record together in 2005, and it came out in 2006, and that was Between Last Night and Us, our first record.
That was a great record, by the way. But they've all been great. Okay. What's the journey been like since then? Well, I know, but this is basically just for people that don't know the Audreys, that might be just
Okay, sure.
coming upon you, etc.
So we did 4 albums between 2006 and 2014, and then I did a solo album in 2016. And then we had a big tour booked for 2020. I then went and had babies. But then we had a big tour booked for 2020, Tristan and I. And of course, we all know what happened in 2020. So that never happened.
Yeah.
And then Tristan passed away in 2022.
Yeah.
So I lost.
Yeah.
But this record has been a lot of the records about him. And I also wrote some of the songs with Tristan's brother, Cam, which was a really great thing for us to do together to celebrate him, and also sort of on our healing journey from grieving losing him.
Yeah.
So that's been really lovely.
So
Yeah.
that was was that sudden when Tristan left, 22? Was that sudden?
He was diagnosed, so we knew he was leaving us.
What a shit time for it to happen, because it must have been through COVID that he sort of had the challenges and difficulties, and it's such a time when we were all bloody locked down and alone and all this sort of stuff, and he's going through that sort of trauma.
And people sometimes say to me, it must have been easier knowing that he
No,
was sick. But it wasn't easier.
never easier.
No.
I'll ask you a few more
I still
questions.
was absolutely devastated when I got that call from his brother. Yeah.
So did you know it was coming though, or it was pretty sudden for you, sort of young and you?
No, he told me.
Okay.
Yeah.
We won't go into it too much because
look, his family have asked that I don't divulge details about
it's a private matter anyway.
Out of respect for them, I don't do that.
It's not really, we know some of it, but we know some of it related to the Audreys just by virtue of the timeline. So that's enough. That's enough for us. It's not important. This isn't a critical, in depth that we're trying to, go out there and say, I just found out something about the Audreys that no one knows. So it's just an interview. So let's not get too carried away.
Right.
Okay. They say we might talk a little bit about, not so much him, but about the impact, because I'm interested in that, 4 into 24 sort of process.
Sure.
They say you're the mainstay. Tash, what does that mean?
I'm the last man standing.
But you were the first man standing too, though, weren't you?
That's true too.
Were the two of you together, or it seemed like, were you more of a force to start it, or was
he and I started the band together. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then we sort of, we had different musicians through different albums, but it was always he and I. And he actually helped me write the songs for my solo record as well.
Really?
But he'd already started getting unwell at that point and wasn't sure he was going to be able to tour that long ago. Yeah.
16 was sick already. Wow.
So, and I didn't want to do a solo record. I didn't, I never had wanted to be a solo artist. I'd always wanted to be in a band, but he convinced me to do it, and it was good and bad. There were some fun parts, but I preferred
a bit of a discovery. How many kids did you have at that stage?
2. I've got 2, yeah.
And you had them both at 16?
So my first boy was born in 2011. My second boy was born in 2014. They're 10 and 13
Was
now.
that part of the reason for the 10-year hiatus?
Yes, correct.
Between albums? So there you go. So that's what happens, we all have good intent, and then all of a sudden family turns up.
I know, right?
It's like I managed a couple of bands, and we were going somewhere or about to do something, but all the guys were 30.
Someone had a baby.
All the guys were 30 and they had wives and mortgages. So they're saying, we're going on tour over in the States. And they say, no, you're not. You're going to stay here and work and pay off the bills. So family always gets in the way most of the time anyway. Okay.
I was still touring. Like, I took 6 months off after my first baby was born, and I got really bored.
Really?
So yeah, so there's footage of me. So with my second baby, I just kept touring. There's footage of me standing on stage, sound checking with like a baby strapped to my front, like fast asleep, and I'm on the mic sound checking. And yeah.
this is a half-hour interview. I'm going to do a Dave podcast at some stage. I'm going to get you back for an hour, and I'll get you crying.
Talk about my leaky boobs. Yeah,
I'll get you crying 15 minutes in, and and then my first boy, and then I'll get you right into it.
Yeah, great.
How would you describe your sound? It says blues roots. Is that what it is?
Look, I don't really know what that means. One of my dear friends and a guy who I toured with for a while on drums used to say, put it this way, the less roots we get, the more we get the blues, or something really dumb like that. But right?
Very
but
good.
I quite like I mean, obviously it's culturally a bit complicated, but I do quite like the Americana genre idea, because to me, Americana is different to country music in that it's really about great songs. It's real singer-songwriter stuff, telling stories. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah. I
do quite like that as a genre term.
How did you navigate like in the last 20 years, we went from, low digital to high digital to, streaming to, how did you navigate all that sort of rubbish in the whole over the head? Someone else dealt with it.
I have no idea.
The pain in the ass. Well, you're from Adelaide. I should have said in the first place, I'll talk slower so that you can understand me. Because,
like, seriously, I like so I have a 13-year-old now, and he will just, oh, for God's sake, Mum, and like grab my phone off me and just like fix stuff up.
it's so good. It's so good.
It's overwhelming. I find modern life I find it quite challenging.
Has he told you got to go out there and start a podcast or something or other and start talking to people? No.
My boys have no interest in my music career.
No.
I went out. I went out to dinner the night before my record came out, and I ordered myself a champagne, and then apple juice or something. And I'm like, here's to Mummy's new record coming out tomorrow, and they're like, whatever.
They will have, that, don't you? Because you'll get into your 20s or something like that, and all of a sudden there'll be this.
Like, Mum's cool.
Old people, cool. She brought out a record. She brought out plenty of records.
6. This is my 6th album.
That's right. That's your 6th, fifth of the band. Okay. Just before we go on to your music, who the whole world wants to know who inspires you? What artists or artist performances sort of inspires you or has inspired you?
I've been like 4 times, I think, now to the Americana Music Festival in Nashville, and that's just my jam.
Yeah,
I just love it.
Who?
Yeah. So, are you a Jason Isbell fan?
Yeah, of course. I'm an everything fan. I get everything across. So
that's just incredible.
Jason's great.
My most recent purchase was Lucinda Williams's new record.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm a huge Dolly Parton fan.
She's unbelievable. Dolly World. What a story.
Oh, did you know?
No, Elvis, you can't have the, Colonel, you can't have the record, when she's nobody.
Yeah.
You can't have the rights.
I know, to Elvis. I know. How good is that? What a great story, right?
Story.
I love that about her.
So do you spend much time over there? Because there's a lot of, obviously, there's a lot of stuff over there. Do you get over there, probably with the kids and all that sort of
I
stuff?
haven't been back since COVID, and I have really mixed feelings about going back now.
Well, of course, now. I mean, it's the devil, it's hell incarnate. And if you went back, they'd probably put you in jail for some reason that you were
I'd find something.
Australian.
My boobs aren't big enough.
All right.
Yeah.
The latest single's Beatles v Stones.
Yes.
That was released in Feb, and the album obviously Ruin and Repair. It's just released this week, wasn't it? The 14th or whatever, or last week, this week.
Last week.
What's it all about? Can you describe its sort of evolution? Because obviously it's been 10 years since the last one, and people might think, there'd be a few life changes in there. Has the music changed, or is it much the same?
I don't know, honestly. I'm not very good at judging the zeitgeist and what I think people want to hear, or like I'm just a songwriter, and when I get into the studio, I always go, what does this song? How can we best present this song? What does it want? Does it want electric guitar? Does it want banjo? Does it just want one acoustic guitar and one voice? Does it want, yeah. So that's always my approach, is we start with the song. So I never think that's cool at the moment and people are going to want to, yeah. I think that would make my head hurt trying to do that.
How did the Tristan, like you're saying, you wrote it and influence and all that? How did that influence the?
Yeah, look, there's some really sad songs on there that are very personal about him. Yeah.
And you'll go and you'll be performing it and you'll be bawling your eyes out. People wonder.
So there's
your fans will get it. Your fans will probably get it. They'll understand.
I've actually had trouble. There's one song in particular that I've had trouble performing live, but I think for that reason, because I get too emotional. But I think having gone through the process of recording it in the studio and then producing it, so then listening and we ended up putting a string section on that song. I think I've sort of processed through the grief enough that I can now present that song as a piece of art without it just pulling me too far under the cover.
Can I ask you what the song is, or is
that song's called Sober?
Okay. What other signature tracks are on the album that they stand out for people that want to sort of get a flavour of the AUDREYS?
Sure. So our first single was called Secondhand Boots.
Yeah.
And that was about a very ill-advised marriage that I had. So
you're bringing the two kids up as a single mum, are you?
That's correct. Yes. I am not a woman who's had good luck in love, sadly.
Some might say the Three Stooges used to say you're married or happy. So some might say that you are lucky being single.
Maybe. That sounds a little cynical.
Does anyone have luck in love, really? I'm not sure that they do.
What's that?
I don't think anyone really has luck in love. They just accept something. Occasionally you will see a real love story, like The Sound of Music, Maria and the captain, and climb every mountain.
But hang on, I think if you actually read interviews with the woman who inspired that story, I think you might take that back.
I'm not interested in the truth. We live in the Trump world.
Don't wreck my good story with the truth.
The truth is only going to hold you back.
Fair.
No, but I think it's one of the difficulties with love, and we won't stay in it too long. But one of the difficulties with love is if you're conscious, you have a personal relationship with the moment. And so to think that there's another person having, you can interdependently connect with someone who's feeling and, thinking the same way, we live in a thought world. And so it's pretty hard for someone that's trying to get somewhere and someone that's happy with just here sort of meeting together. Someone's always going somewhere and wants you to come with them. And the other person's always, being here. I don't think.
Where's your song about that? That's what I want to know.
Well, that's right. That's what I'm doing the pod, because I can't write songs. Okay. So Do you have a favourite? Have you played them live yet, like the album? Or you haven't?
The two singles we've played live a few times just in the last few months. But a lot of it has never been played live, and we start touring next weekend. So we're in rehearsals at the moment. But it's
Is that,
it's so
is that
fun.
what the tour's about? Is that about playing the whole album, or is it about
We
playing
won't play the whole album.
lives and some still
I think we're doing 7 tracks from the new record, and then so it's a 90-minute show, and then it's probably about 10 older tracks.
when was the last big tour?
I've honestly I've kind of always been touring. Big national tour. Did I do one last year? Maybe year before. No, I was mostly recording last year, so the year before. So let's say 20. Well, I was on tour when Tristan passed. Sure, I should just say died. I don't know why I'm scared of that word. We were in, I was on stage 6 days later. It was hard. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Well, we've got to, really, we've got to do hard things all the time because there's always, especially if you're a parent. I mean, there's hard stuff all the time because, you wait until, well, how old's the oldest?
13. He had a piano concert today at school. I just got a text from his piano teacher saying that he did really well.
So I'd say next year he's going to run away and you won't know where he is. And you'll find him with some, living under somewhere in Sydney after a week or two, and he'll have,
Yeah.
no. So anyhow, you've got something to look forward to, I'm sure. Okay,
He's 5'11".
yeah, I know. Well, he's going to be able to punch up people, just like 1923. He's that guy in 1923 that just wins every fight.
He's a greyhound. He's just so lean, but so tall.
He probably looks after you. Probably won't have that issue because with single mum, he probably looks after you more than anything else.
I mean, I'm not sure, but yeah.
Okay, you won ARIAs in 6, 8, 11, nominated 14. So obviously you're expecting this year that they're going to put you up again.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Oh, best blues.
Another one. But they say, like if you know anything about home decorating, you want to put things in groups of 3. So 3 ARIAs actually works really quite nicely. Or might mess up my.
Believe me, you'll be up there and you'll win. That's just the way these things work. After 20 years, if you'd have brought out a Wiggles record, they probably would have put you up and given you an album for Blues Roots.
We did a track on one of the re-Wiggled albums. We did like where like a contemporary artist doing covers of Wiggle songs. What do we do? Oh my God, I can't even remember. Cowboys and cowgirls. Something about cow boots. I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay, so what are you looking forward to most about the tour? You've got a tour that goes from March through to November. You've got a couple of dates in August and November or something, but predominantly March through June. What are you looking forward to most?
Honestly, it's my favorite part of what I do is
So
touring.
more of the same. And anything that fans can expect that might be a little bit of, wait for?
Something exciting.
Yeah.
I am trying to arrange a string quartet for my Adelaide show. So have that. Also, my bass player and guitarist have been doing a lot of work because there's quite a lot of backing vocals on this new record. And they've been working on these beautiful backing vocals, and I'm really looking forward to hearing that live.
Now, having said that, you've had many different touring members. I've done I do plenty of interviews, obviously, and in research sometimes I see these bands that have been together for like 30 years, and you go through, say, their Wikipedia, and they've had about 5 people, like they're the original people, something, and they've been together forever. It's like they're just brothers or something or other. And I noticed that you've got a swag of, different people over the time. Is that a creative
the band was
thing or
essentially just
practical?
me and Tristan. So it was just Tristan and I with a band. We wrote all the songs. And then when we had a tour or something on, we would see who was available. So
it was, but it wasn't creative though. It was just practical. Who's around or whatever, and just play the rock. So it's like a session sort of thing. Yeah,
except I like I think it's more than that. Everyone I've worked with and toured with has been a close friend and is still a close friend.
Yeah.
My band at the moment are amazing. when Tristan died and I was on tour with them, I can't tell you how much they helped me get through that time. That was
Good.
incredible.
Which
So
is,
they're amazing people.
yeah. Well, that's, one thing you learn about life is that's the only thing that's important is make sure you surround yourself with amazing people, whatever you're doing. If you could perform with any music artist alive or dead, and the music artist that's dead, if you nominate one, would be
Dolly,
alive.
Dolly.
Okay, Dolly.
Sorry, was I too quick?
Didn't she do some great stuff with Ronstadt and
The trio albums. Someone sent me two of those albums on vinyl for Christmas.
I'm telling you, if you look at those three, like Ronstadt basically created the Eagles, because they were backing people in her band, and she told them you should do something.
Is that right? Like Don Henley and
But the not Don, it was anyhow, two of them they were basically backing singers in her
God,
band, and she suggested they get together. And basically,
so good.
when she was brought into the Hall of Fame, they brought her in, and they said she should have been in here 20 years ago. I don't know why it took so long. Plus, she had the biggest selling album of that Latin American stuff that she used to do.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
still of all time. She was but the three of them, you could just imagine the three of them creatively and performatively. What more would you want? And everyone got to see this thing.
They're incredible records, aren't they?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. What piece?
Emmy Lou. I stood next to Emmy Lou
Sensational.
at the baggage carousel at the Nashville airport, going, "Should I say hello? Should I say hello? Should I say hello?" I didn't.
But they're all so sweet. Carole King, when they did the Kennedy Center things with Aretha, when
Yeah.
Aretha did her song, they're so sweet. They're so normal. Joan Baez, they're so sweet. It's like, they're the biggest of big, and they got their heads on the ground.
And I really love seeing female artists supporting each other like that too. I love that.
Well,
Yeah.
in America, you're not allowed to be female anymore. You're not allowed DEI, so you're not allowed to be female. You're not allowed to be black. It's only just white men. That's all that you can be. So they'll probably cut out all the awards for, like, he's got the Kennedy Center honors this year. They'll probably be all white men. So
Well, you'll be fine.
I'll be fine. No, I won't be, because I'm a conscious person, so I'm sort of, and in the quantum we're all connected, so I'm connected to everybody. Okay, what piece of advice would you give to any artist starting out with all the experience that you've got?
Don't have a fallback plan. Back yourself.
Just back yourself.
Yeah.
So be you, and I would say perform every opportunity you get, because I think connecting with the audience is really what a career is all about.
Yeah. Look, I think there are artists who love studio more than live. I think it's really different for different musicians. Personally, I love performing live. It's my favorite thing. And I sort of
always has been.
Studio work so that I can get on the road. Yeah.
Always has been. I think that's basically, it's perform to build an audience and feed them in between with stuff that you bring out. But it's the performance that builds the audience. Have you always been like, did you start off that way, or did you build that connection?
Yeah. I was one of those really annoying brats who used to make all my mum's dinner party friends listen to music.
That's fantastic. In Adelaide.
Honestly.
That must have been church music, was it? Or was hymns?
No.
It's normal.
Okay.
Okay.
I seem churchy.
What's the best thing about performing to a live audience?
The dialogue between performer and
They're singing your song. What's been the career highlight?
do you know what? This is really sort of obvious, but I think it was winning our first aria, because
That's a good one.
that was the moment where I went, I'm actually doing this. This is actually working.
Who gave it to you?
That's a really good question. I think it was John Butler,
Oh, what a superstar.
because we were nominated against Bernard Fanning. And so everyone told us we had no chance of
No
winning.
chance.
We were at the back of the room. We were shit-faced drunk. And then because we were just having a good time. And then this cameraman came and was looking at his table plan or something, and then looked at me and then squatted down and put a camera on my face. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
that's really weird. And
Someone
then I
bring
looked around and there were other cameras on our table, and we all looked at each other, and everyone's eyes kind of like, we all panicked.
Who's got the acceptance speech?
So like, because I hadn't prepared a speech, I hadn't done anything. And then suddenly we hear our name getting called out from the stage, and the cameras are on us, and we all just froze and sat there. And apparently I have seen this on camera. It is pretty funny. Apparently I then just jump up and like just rush the stage, and my band are like running after me.
Too good, too
It was
good.
an amazing night, and my parents were there, and my sister was there. I could hear them, my family screaming from the,
So
you know,
good. So
bleachers.
good.
Yeah.
So good, so good. All right, okay. We're going to finish with some quick questions.
Okay.
A few personal things and then some favourites. So,
Okay.
what's the craziest thing you've ever done? Have
Nothing I can tell you.
Have two kids. Yeah, that's right. Nothing I could tell you that wouldn't get me arrested, and then I wouldn't be able to tour.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
fair enough. So, what's the craziest thing you've ever done? You're not going to divulge it. Okay.
No, are you kidding me?
What's one topic you can talk about for hours?
Music. I'm sorry, but oh my God, I love nerding out on that.
From music.
Yeah.
Actually, it'd be interesting to get your view on this whole, digital streaming sort of process. People needing TikTok accounts and all this sort of stuff they think to build a career. Anyhow, what's the thing you like most about yourself?
My legs.
Can you show me? Or, no, don't worry about it.
There's lots of photos of my legs online.
Okay. Here we go. We're going to finish with some favourites.
Okay.
You ready? Favourite album?
Essence by Lucinda Williams.
Favourite artist?
Dolly. Has to be.
Do you really listen to her now, or is she a favourite artist that you would?
That's a really good question, because you're probably right. All right. If I'm going to do someone more contemporary, I would say Brandy Carlisle. I've been listening to her a lot lately.
She's great. She's fantastic. Favourite movie?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I discover a lot from these sort of situations because people say something that's so obscure, you sort of say, what?
With Null and I.
What was that?
With Null and I.
I still don't understand it.
You don't know With Null and I?
What can you spell it? Because maybe I'm just not hearing it the right.
With Null. It looks like with nail. WITH.
Oh, I don't know.
AIL.
Who's in it?
Nail. With Nail and I. You don't know that movie?
No, I don't. Good movie.
Well, I'm sorry, we're done. No, it's great. So
luckily, we got to the end. Favorite place to visit?
I really love the river. I love going to the river. When I was a kid, I used to go to the river a lot. So I always find the river really relaxing and soothing.
We're in Adelaide.
Well, my mum lives in Hamish Island.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
The water.
Yeah, the water. Not the sea, the river.
No. It's mad down there anyway in Adelaide by the sea. Madness.
Yeah.
Favorite venue to play?
Look, I'm going to say a home venue. So it'd be a toss-up between the Gov, the Wheat Chief, and the Grace Emily.
Really?
Yeah.
The Gov gets messy.
I love home shows. Huh?
The Gov gets messy because everyone, there's no separation and, people are on top of you.
The talking at the bar can be a problem at the Gov. That I have noticed that.
Well, also, the photographers have a hard time because on big shows they can't get around, they can't get full, photos and all that sort of stuff. So we hear about that a bit. Favorite food?
Pasta.
Pasta. Any pasta? Favorite drink?
Red wine.
Pretty traditional. Favorite person in history apart from me?
Favorite what?
Person in history apart from me.
Favorite person in history. Wow.
Well, a lot of people talk about, whether they're going through a conscious thing. So they talk about Mandela, or they talk about their mum because she brought me up, or they talk about, Joan of Arc because I was just reading this book, or, everyone has a favourite something or other that they either read or follow. It could be Tolle, Eckhart. Everyone's sort of influenced by somebody. Who are you influenced by?
Well, I think Dolly Parton's definitely a big role model to me. I think she's an incredible feminist,
Why
and
don't you,
I
have you
love.
contacted her?
Sorry,
Have you contacted her?
no,
Why don't you contact her?
I should.
You
I
should.
I love that. One of my favorite Dolly quotes is when someone accused her of being a dumb blonde, and how do you feel about that? She says, "Well, I'm fine with it because I know I'm not dumb, and I also know I'm not blonde."
She's
Oh
too.
my God.
She's too good.
But I've as a female artist and feminist myself, I really resent the idea that as a feminist you're not allowed to care about your appearance and you're not allowed to, and she's very anti that. Like I've had people come up to me and say, "Why do you wear those crazy shoes on stage? They look really uncomfortable." And I go, "Because they make me feel really
Yeah,
hot."
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Of course you are. You're allowed to do anything. But the
And
Dolly thing, of
it's not unfeminist to wear heels
course not.
if I want to wear heels.
Of course not. Of course not. Where it becomes a judgment when you're accusing someone, maybe you shouldn't have that opinion. But if it's with yourself, you can do whatever you want. The
Well,
Dolly,
the thing is that they are policing what I'm wearing.
yes,
And well,
forget
this
about
is literally what feminism
it.
is
Forget
about. It's about you're not allowed to tell me what to wear.
Forget about it. But you just have to say Dolly World. I mean, anyone that can have a music career like she had and, start a Dolly World. I mean, that's a massive, and she's not a, business people didn't come along and say, put your name up here. She's there all the time and she's
Yeah.
instrumental in all the decisions, and she does a lot of good gear there that's very, community minded and all that sort of stuff. No, she's a legend.
And she was very ambitious, but not really unapologetic about that, which I
No,
love about her.
she's
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
And last question, do you have a tattoo?
I don't.
You don't have a tattoo.
I not have a tattoo. Isn't that weird?
You never got one through that whole musical.
Do you know what? I think because people have asked me about this before, and I think because I've got piercings and stuff, so it's not an ethical thing. I just don't connect visually to stuff. I don't think I couldn't imagine committing to an image for my whole life.
It's interesting because, in the last probably 10, 15 years, you talk about feminism, a lot of females have seen it as a unique stand sort of thing. So they get it because it makes them feel more unique about, this is me sort of stuff. They're mucking around. Anyhow, we'll stop there. But I was going to say in America, they're mucking around with that whole feminism situation, and it's going to be pretty nasty, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What a bad man. Anyhow, enough. Thank you. That's great.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a great tour.
I will.
And does that mean now that we're going to get albums every 2 years again? Now that the
I promise.
going up,
I promise.
fantastic.
Yes.
Imagine all the arias you have, and now for the 10th time they've brought out their 10th album, and they've just won the aria for boom, boom, boom. All right, mate. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Kelly.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.